say good afternoon and welcome to everyone, and greetings from the London office here. Obviously, this is Andy Maguire. He's a panelist on today's call. He'll just be listening in and jumping in should some things come up that Andy can cover. He's an expert within the precious metal space. And also a member of our advisory board. My name's Jai Bafulka. I'm the head of marketing here at Kinesis, and this webinar today is about just keeping everyone up to date and covering a few important topics that have arisen over the past month, particularly with the re-domicile to the Cayman Islands. We've got a few updates in regards to what we're doing and in the way of partnerships and our growth, and things are really ramping up here. It's really good for you guys just to touch base with Tom and hear it from him, hear everything about Kinesis from him and what's going on. So that's really what today's call's about. And I'll just let you know that although you are muted, if you do type questions in, our team here will extract those questions. And what we're going to aim to do after today's webinar is I'll compile a list of the questions. And hello, Tom. So we'll extract the questions and then we'll get back to you. What we'll probably do is a summary email. And then we can cover everything off in just one email. So, anything that's relevant. So please don't hesitate and shoot some questions out. And hopefully our esteemed CEO will be able to answer most of your questions anyway in today's webinar. So, I'll pass you over, Tom, and I'll leave it to you.
Thanks a lot, Jai, and thanks for everyone joining the call today. So yeah, a little bit's happened over the last while, and we'd like to give a bit of an update on what's been going on. In particular, yes, as Jai mentioned, our re-domicile to the Cayman Islands, which is a really strong move by us and really acts for the benefit of Kinesis and our wider community and stakeholders. I also want to go into, what we've been working on. There's been a lot of questions around also like what we've raised. I think I've communicated on various occasions that we want to keep our cards close to our chest there, but I can give an indication of an internal soft cap. I also then want to delve into like our yield system. And what we've had and how the different yields work and the purpose and the reasoning behind this incentive-based system, this system of shared wealth. So it's just going to be me again today, but in the subsequent webinars where we're going to bring in other members of the team who will discuss, what they specialize in and different areas. You may have seen like some articles being posted on Medium and around social media from our CTO, Roslyn, on different aspects of our system, which is coming along very, very nicely, all our technology behind the scenes. So let me delve into it. So yes, the reason around basically us changing the dates for our ITO and then subsequent moving for our ICO. So our ITO meaning that's pertains to our KVTs, Kinesis Velocity Tokens. So a number of different reasons there. One, we initially when we went out and started promoting Kinesis, we were thinking that it would be taken up quite fast actually by large institutions, and because we got inundated by investment interest from large institutions. But also when we first started doing our interviews, we got blown away by how the floodgates were open for individual participation by just normal people coming in, and we really wanted to keep the doors open for as much like mass participation as possible. So we did put some like large institutional deals on the sideline that we got offered, and really focused in on mass participation by the average person, which we see that as then flowing into success of the overall monetary system. Basically, the ICO for the K coins. So with that, we had to scramble to bring together all of our internal systems for bringing in the masses ultimately, which involve like a very significant build out of our CRM system, like customer relationship management system, so we can like onboard customers. It goes through to our marketing and our sales functions, so everything can be tracked and all data can be held securely and safely and everything like that. That was one major delay in getting all of our internal systems up to date and making the transition from an institutional organization, which ABX is. ABX, where, as most of you on the call would know, is an institutional business that's been around, founded in 2011, and it founded Kinesis, obviously. The team brought the expertise, the ABX team brought its expertise in to founding Kinesis. And with that as well, we started to build out new offices. So Jai's calling in from our newly established London office, which that's approaching almost 10 people now. And our sales team, our head of sales, Ryan Case, who you may have seen attending and presenting at some expos. And also our marketing team is based out of there as well. And we're building out legal functions and other such things in the London office as well. In addition, we're setting up a Barcelona, so Spanish-based office as well, which will be facing not only Spain, but also Latin America. The Spanish-speaking population is very large. I think off the top of my head, the native Spanish-speaking population is larger than the native English-speaking population. So it's really quite large. And obviously, if you look into Latin America, you're looking at countries that have been burdened by constant hyperinflation, inflation, currency debasement, and like geopolitical turmoil throughout the ages, effectively. So this is something, this region we can provide a lot of value to, whether it be just utilization of our precious metal-based currencies, or for like different individuals and corporations to get involved in it. So we've been busy building out these teams to properly push out our platform to the wider audience across the world. We want as much participation as possible. In our very, very early days, I'm talking very early days, we hit our internal soft cap that we never actually published, and we probably should have published it, but we never did. It was US dollars, 15 million. That's been reached. And that 15 million ensures that we have a sufficient amount of money to be able to deliver upon our development requirements, our development goals of Kinesis. Now I know that it's a much larger offer than that, and we've raised a lot more money than that as well. But we don't want to be continuously updating everyone and flagging and red flagging ourselves to competitors or whomever else as to what our actual figure is. So I can tell you that in very early days, we hit our soft cap of 15 million, and that's enough to get us to where we need to be from a developmental perspective. So also, you may have just seen over the last few days, this week, on Monday, I think it was, we released our new website. This new website is integrated into our CRM and integrated into all of our marketing and sales functions. We've got multilingual capabilities being rolled out on the website as well, and also all of the collaterals, whether it be the white paper, the blueprint, the white paper summary, they will also all be rolled out in multilingual, in different languages. So, and you'll see more support come online as well for different languages, whether it be, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Arabic, Spanish. It'll all be rolled out, and we'll be able to face all these different regions all around the world. So also what obviously fed into the delay was initially we were looking at domiciling the entire, I guess, call them the mother organization of Kinesis in the Isle of Man. So we set up there, we started our pre-sale based out of that entity. But of course, and as I've mentioned on some of our social media channels before, that we had backup plans in case, not only backup plans, but we kept our doors open and our options open as to more favorable jurisdictions. Now, cryptocurrency, digital currency, this industry is a highly evolving industry, obviously, and it's been difficult to ascertain at any one point in time, particularly in its early stages, what would be the best jurisdiction to be in. So we kept our options open. We've recently re-domiciled into the Cayman Islands. So, and this has proved to be a highly advantageous jurisdiction for us from both a legal, jurisdictional, and partnership perspective. There's a lot of partners based out of there with strategic opportunities to partner up with them. In addition, the banking side. So the banking in the Isle of Man is very, very strong and much more supportive for us in Cayman, and much more supportive for us than the Isle of Man. So but finding bank accounts was going to be a little bit of a problem out of the Isle of Man. We had a full-time team on getting bank accounts opened. With Cayman, we're getting it all set up right now, and with multiple options there. Further than that, obviously there were some delays with getting full regulatory approval for our full operation out of the Isle of Man, and we just couldn't wait any longer as far as those regulatory delays. So I mean, the Cayman Islands was a much better option, and we decided to do that seamless shift to the Cayman Islands. So yeah, and also and we don't foresee this whatsoever, but I just want everyone to rest assured that if for whatever reason something happens in the Cayman Islands and it becomes like an unfriendly jurisdiction from a cryptocurrency or digital currency perspective, we've got another jurisdiction set up that we'll just flip over to again. But it's looking very, very unlikely. We spent a lot of time actually carefully selecting the Cayman Islands, and they're taking a wait and see approach with regards to cryptocurrency and digital currency. And we'll likely at some point bring out regulation that we'll just simply comply with, and we'll get all the necessary licenses. At this point in time, no licenses are required. So it's something we've got, it's clear seas as far as moving forward now, and we're very happy with that move, to be honest with you. So yeah, moving on to what we have been working on. Now, as I mentioned before, our new website just went live, and we've been, obviously, our marketing team, our sales team, and everyone who has contributed, obviously IT team as well, to it, have been working on that, getting that up and rolling. And you'll see more sections coming online which help support everything behind building out a massive Kinesis community. Everything, so yeah, as I mentioned, everything multilingual, translated, that's still going through. We've been putting together new partnerships as well. You may have seen just a new liquidity partnership for Kinesis, which is a pre-existing relationship with an ABX liquidity provider called Fine Metal Asia, that have a very special relationship as an exclusive trading and distribution partner for Argor Heraeus, one of the large Swiss refiners, one of the top 4 Swiss refiners. And we'll continue to release these kind of partnerships. We've got a lot in the woodwork that we're going to be releasing, a lot in the pipeline, and we'll continue to release these. But these guys are very large physical liquidity providers, providing liquidity to physical participants in the physical precious metals world. So the likes of other physical, like bullion dealers, the banks, jewelers, manufacturers, that sort of thing. That's who they supply. And they're very large, obviously, throughout Europe. Fine Metal also have a European branch. And we're also, talking with them and in discussions and looking to put together deals there as well. We'll have a lot of deals that will be rolling out over the next while. We're about to really, really start hitting it hard with our PR side. So we've just engaged a PR firm to take us out, not only to alternate and precious metal sort of channels or alternate media, but to also get us out into mainstream channels. So the likes of the Wall Street Journal, the Financial Times, whatever it may be across the world, like mainstream financial press, might be Bloomberg, CNBC. We're getting out there into the mainstream channels now. So we've engaged a PR firm now to get us out there, and we're very happy with the deal that we have with them. Basically, we're about to start our full integrated approach across PR, like public relations side, across marketing, across sales, across community management. We're about to, and social media, etc. We're about to push out everywhere, and obviously, you're going to start seeing us more and more. It's taken us a while to get everything together to be able to do it right. But trust me, it's better that we do it right rather than rush it and cut corners and make mistakes along the way. So that's another big reason why we pushed out the time frames, just so it enables us enough time to be able to get it right and be able to bring in the masses the way that we want. We could have been closing it with a few large investors in the early days. We decided to do it this way because it's better for our community, it's better for the company, and it's better for everything that we're doing with this monetary system. So on the sales side as well, we'll be attending more and more events that we'll be presenting at. Who knows, we might even start some of our own events in major regions as well, where that way we can actually really sort of control things the way that we want it. But anyway, we're going to continue. We're going to continue with these different events around the world, which increase awareness. We've got a lot of institutional interest as well that keeps on coming through. And obviously, every day there's more and more and more individuals, just, the average mum and dad who comes into the system. So things are going actually really well, and everyone's super excited at our end. So now I want to go into the yield system, right? So if you're a holder of KVTs at the moment, I assume you've done your research already. And this is something that is so unique about what we're doing. And it's something that we're all very proud of, because it really tests, it's something revolutionary, I think, as far as getting money moving. Where our name comes from, Kinesis, Greek name for movement, right? I like the biological meaning, undirectional movement from stimulus. All right, so this differs from our current fractional banking system and fiat monetary system. I mean, money gets created by central banks. It gets then basically brought through the commercial banks and then lent out. You take away all debt, then you have no money, ultimately. So it goes out through the banks and it comes back through the banks. That's how it works. It's very, very directional. So what we're doing, we're allowing the average person to create their own money, ultimately. Kinesis gold coins, Kinesis silver coins. And they do that through our very unique, two-tier market system. So we have a primary market and we have a secondary market. The primary market is called Kinesis Currency Exchange, KCX. Now, the average person can go in and actually create their own currency by buying some Kinesis coins. As someone buys a Kinesis coin, they become what's called a minter. So this is where the minter yield comes from. So they're minting their own coin. They become a minter. When you buy it, it is automatically, without doing anything, it's emitted into your wallet in the blockchain. So it's then through to basically the secondary system. From there, you can either send, spend, or sell it, right? And in the secondary system, because Kinesis is a full monetary system, we're even developing and it's coming along very, very well, our own like blockchain-based cryptocurrency exchange. So within this exchange, it will facilitate basically conversion of other cryptocurrencies to Kinesis or Kinesis to fiat currency, and it'll be tied up to our like mobile banking system. We're about to even, we're putting together more deals in the mobile banking space. Nothing's going to stop us with putting together these deals. We're out there putting together more and more deals. If we started, I don't want to go off topic, but we started this thing with a lot of partnerships already in place, more partnerships than any other cryptocurrency provider or any other cryptocurrency business that I saw. We basically had most of our partnerships in place to roll this thing out. We didn't go out there with a white paper saying, this is what we want to do, give us enough money and we can, probably put it all together. We had everything all put together basically from day one. And that's the way that we like to do things here. That's the way I like to do things. But we continue to put together more and more deals, and more deals will be announced, will be released. So with regards to the minter, so once it's in the secondary system, once you've minted your currency, you can then send, spend, or sell it within the system. Now, once you do that, then after you do that, you receive yield on what you actually sent or sold into the system once you offload it effectively. And as that increases, you then get a proportion of the transaction fees out of the system. So if, for example, you mint $50,000 of Kinesis gold coins and then you spend them, then ultimately what that means is you have $50,000 out there working for you that you receive a proportion of the yields of the system. Now, for whoever brings money into KCX and buys as part of our ICO, which will come later in the year, for whoever participates in our pre-sale, they'll get 15% of a proportional share of 15% of the transaction fees of the system. Well, that's 15% of 20% of the system. Oh, no, sorry. No, I'm getting a little bit confused with KVTs there. Forget that. It's 15% of whatever's in the system. Post pre-sale, then it goes down to 5%. Now, you see, we need to balance these percentages correctly to make sure that money keeps on flowing through the system. So we don't want there to be an incentive to hoard. We want there to be incentive to spend. So this is why the minter yield is there. So there needs to be that incentive to continue to spend. Now, we also have what's called a depositor's yield. So for the smaller participant in the system who also might not want to be bothered with actually minting like the coins, then we have what's called a depositor's yield. And this is someone who just directly comes into the secondary market, might download, like an application on your phone, and you come into the secondary market and you buy KAU or KAG, the Kinesis gold and silver coins, through the system. And when you do that at an initial time, we want to be incentivizing your initial deposit, right? So we incentivize your initial deposit to buy. And so you'll actually be buying off our exchange, off our cryptocurrency exchange where there's buyers and sellers waiting there for you effectively. Now you'll likely be buying from a minter, right? Because the minters, how they sell in the system, they can only put it on the offer side. They can't just be hitting the bid. That will create insanity in the market. Okay, we know a little bit about markets at Kinesis and ABX. And imagine, so I say send, spend, or sell. So, but imagine what a minter can do if you're just like, creating this currency and then hitting the bid, just dumping into the market, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, and just create insanity all day. So what minters need to do, they just need to sit on the offer side of the market. So you put your offer up and say, okay, I've got these for sale. And what we want buyers to come, and buyers will come. Initially, we want to incentivize the depositors. So the depositors, we want to maximize your initial deposit, and you'll likely be buying from minters that they have their offers in the market. Also, there'll be designated market makers, but we want to give minters, obviously, minters, designated market makers are like Fine Metal Asia, who will have bids and offers in the market and ensuring at all times that there's liquidity. So you enter the market, that you can also get out of the market, and you can get out of the market very, very cost effectively. So there's a small bid-ask spread in the market. So with depositors, the yield will also initially be, hang on, sorry, I've got to bring this up. So 5%, I believe it is. Well, that's 5%. Anyway, it's in the blueprint. I wrote the blueprint and I can't even remember. I'll bring that up and I'll come back to it. And and then obviously also what I want to talk about is the holders yield. So with the holders yield, what that is doing is it's passive income. So you just buy Kinesis coins and you start receiving a yield. How? You're also getting a share of like the transaction fees out of the system. So there's no debt associated with it. Everyone says to me, oh, how are you getting a yield? Like, is it like debt based? Am I lending it out? What are you doing? Are you lending it out? Where's the yield coming from? No, that's where all of our brains have been conditioned to actually the only place to get a yield from. But what we've done with this monetary system, everyone shares in the success individually and collectively of the system. So the more monetary velocity that's in the system, then the greater the yield. The more that it's used as money, so the more that I spend it, whether it be I send it through the blockchain or I use my debit card, which can be used in different regions all around the world, or whether whatever I do. If I might be a business, I might mint Kinesis coins and then send it to my employees. If I use it, then that's monetary velocity. So as it passes through the system, transaction fees are charged to the sender, and then basically from that transaction fee, the 0.45% that's charged, it's split up between the different market participants. And one of those market participants is the holder. So the holders receive 15%. Now that might sound high in comparison to minter, but the thing is, a minter, as you keep on selling and selling, that gets a higher and higher proportion. Most people actually spend a lot more money than what they have saved. So you can actually, build up what you have out there as far as money working for you a lot faster. And if presented with a situation where, do I spend, my US dollars or euro or Japanese yen or Mexican peso or whatever it may be, do I use that or do I use Kinesis? I don't get any benefit after I use my legal tender fiat currency. After I spend it, it's gone. I get no more benefit ever for it. But with Kinesis, after you spend it, you do get benefit. So which option am I going to choose? Will I choose US dollar, right? And other fiat currencies where I spend it and the benefit of that money is gone forever? Or do I choose Kinesis, where I spend it and I get more benefits? So it's my conviction, and I'm a monetary historian, that if there's the better option out there where you can actually get benefits on money if you use it, if you spend it, then why wouldn't you use Kinesis? And by then incentivizing people to actually spend it, then they will spend it. So, like there's different theories on what our velocity rates will be, but the thing is, people are going to be using this thing for spending because we're the only currency on planet Earth that offers a benefit after you spend it, right? So I know what I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using Kinesis, and I'm going to be spending as much as what I can through it and trying to be spending as little as possible of any other currency. I don't want to use any other currency. I want to use Kinesis. So then what our challenge is to create an entire ecosystem, an entire monetary system whereby you can do everything you need to do from your home banking to your business banking with seamlessly through our system. And the more that you use our system, the more you're individually rewarded, and the more that the system overall collectively is rewarded. So, and this is something that I think is truly revolutionary, and it's up to us, and it's our challenge to educate everyone around the world about this. And I think that we've got our incentive scheme right to be able for this thing to go viral. We're only in our very, very early stages still. It's early stage. So yeah. So the holders yield, and this is why we need the holders yield. So think about what you can buy as an investment around the world that gives you a passive yield. And actually, there's only a few investment classes that give you a passive yield. And to be honest, none of them really look attractive at all. You've got stocks on the stock market that give you a dividend yield. I show the different dividend yields from around the world, like from stocks on the stock market. You've got obviously like bank deposits. So look at those. In Switzerland, still negative 0.75%. You've got obviously bonds as well. So debt. You've got debt, and then you've got rental property, whether you buy an entire house or apartment block or whatever you want, or you buy a unit trust or something like that gives some kind of income, passive income. So it's like bank deposit, bonds, stocks, rental property. But now you've got Kinesis as well. You've got KAU, KAG, and any other currencies that we roll out as part of our currency suite. And this is something pretty big. So we're creating effectively a fourth asset class that provides passive yield. So what that does then, it provides a comparable passive yield to compete with the other asset classes. There's a fair bit of capital allocated to those other asset classes. Just look at what the market capitalization is of stock markets around the world, what bank deposits are, what money's invested in government bonds, corporate bonds, and then what's in property. Rental property as an investment. And if we provide a comparable investment yield, of course, this is something that's variable. I can't tell you what the yield's going to be. And so that's why I give, the different, we've given you the different percentages based on different velocity. I'm confident that velocity will be high because, as I just mentioned, we're a better alternative to fiat currency. And fiat currency, I've seen estimates that velocities, 35 to 40% for, US dollar, and about the same for euro as well. So there's no reason why we can't be the same. In fact, I would contend that we probably should be higher. So, but best off assuming the lowest. Okay, I don't want people getting like expectations that it's going to be high or anything like that. And also, we're going to have like an adoption curve. We're going to have an adoption period where it might start off like not so high, but then over time it'll get higher and higher and higher as more and more people come in. We'll do our best with the resources that we have to push this out to the masses. But we can't expect to boil the ocean overnight. It's going to take time. And I want everyone to, just have their expectations realistic as well about everything as well. We're going to do the best that we can. We think that we're on a winner here. But, it's going to take time. And, we want to do this right. I prefer the organic growth sort of strategy rather than trying to come out and do some big bang boom. We're changing the world forever. You've got to participate now or never. No, this is something that it'll take time, and it's. I want everyone to understand that. So moving on. Look. Let me just pull up some of these yields. I'll get there, but the next yield is a recruiter yield. Now, this is a yield designed for certainly rewarding individual participation as far as spreading the word of Kinesis, getting like friends and family involved in the system. And by doing so, you increase the size of the system. All right, so this is just a referral-based situation whereby you refer someone in, but when you do that, you receive a share of their transaction fees forever while they exist in the system. So say if you bring your mother or your father or your friend in, then and they sign up with a wallet and sign up with an account on our cryptocurrency exchange, then you'll receive a share of their transaction fees forever while they actually participate in the system. So that means that everyone's actually incentivized to bring more and more people into the system, and they benefit from it individually, and the system benefits collectively. And this creates like the viral side of it. This is how, I think that will reach like a critical mass and it'll start to snowball. And after we get over this big sort of marketing, sales, PR push, then this thing will start to move by itself. These things will start to roll by itself as more and more people come in, and then our role will become more and more educational. We'll continue to educate the people, educate the masses, to understand the benefits and equip them with all the tools necessary to keep on spreading the word about Kinesis, to keep it growing and growing and growing. The most important thing is that we get the system right, because systems are the most powerful thing in all of the world. We're born into systems. Systems program the way that we think, what is right and what is wrong, what is fair and what isn't fair. So it's really important that we get this system right from day one. But with regards to the yields, the sharing of the transaction fees, it's very important that they're set in a way that keep the money moving. So I'll tell you from the outset right now that we'll also be keeping an eye on whether these fee sharing ratios, whether they're working as far as keeping the money moving throughout the system. We've put a lot of thought into it, and we think that they're set at the right level. It's my conviction that they are set at the right level to keep the money moving. But if for whatever reason it's facilitating hoarding, which I can't envisage, then we might need to lower the holding fee sharing ratio and increasing, let's say, the minting ratio. But never will we ever mitigate the overall what's shared with the community. There might be just some adjustments, even though I don't think it will ever happen. There might be some adjustments to one to add to another, but I don't envisage that ever happening. But just so you know, it's designed in a way to keep the money moving and to keep the system like increasing in size, getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and all by itself. And ultimately, it's a system that I think should be able to effectively govern itself. I mean, that's the beauty of a system, ultimately. And as I said, I think our role is going to become more educational over time. And yeah, that's really it. And we'll continue to do our strategic deals. We'll be, as a monetary system, you can almost plug any kind of business into it, or any kind of organization, and do any kind of partnership or with any kind of platform or anything. So we'll continue with the strategic partnerships, plugging everything in, as many things as we can. Obviously, you know, there's the commercial center there as well, which this will be, you know, like goods and services providers, merchants, plugged directly into the Kinesis system, whereby holders of Kinesis, users of Kinesis, can use their money to buy goods and services. And from that, the Kinesis system will get paid a commission. So it's just sort of like because what's actually happening there behind the scenes, it's the Kinesis system is referring a customer to one of these goods and services providers, and we'll come up with, we'll negotiate like a referral commission structure with one of these goods and services providers. If they want to be part of our system and want to receive customers from our system, then they have to give the system ultimately a commission. But instead of us just taking it and putting it in our pockets, which that's how any other organization will work, we want to share it. We share it with the collective system. So, and that's the way it works. So people are then once again incentivized to use the commercial center, because once they use the commercial center, the commission that would be payable otherwise, and it's going to be the same price, it gets brought back into the system and gets shared with everyone again. So, and obviously as we get bigger and our bargaining power gets stronger, then, you know, more and more possibilities become available to us. So that's really like about it as far as the yield system goes. You know, if you look on the blueprint, you know, we really delve into it on page 29, and we've got, you know, the different yields split up to incentivize, you know, different stakeholder groups, different participants within the system. Please look into it, and we estimate different yields. I was going to come back to that. So, I mean, I find this important in looking at, you know, say like the holder yield, because the holder yield it's going to attract the capital from other investment asset classes. And, you know, even just on 20% velocity, if with the sharing of both, you know, transaction fees and also, projected commission from the commercial center, we're looking at like a 6.28% yield. If it goes up to 30%, you're looking at a 9.42% annual yield just by holding Kinesis. No other cryptocurrency does that, right? And particularly, you know, you can't get that in the precious metals community as well, and by holding gold or by holding silver. So we're doing like a few pretty big revolutionary things. We're putting like a yield on gold, which in the precious metals community, it'll be the only well, actually no, there's a few like gold yielding investments out there, but they're debt based, right? And there's a lot of counterparty risk, etc. Whereas with us, you buy the Kinesis currency, you hold allocated title to it. It's divisible allocated title. It's a safe haven investment. It's stable. But because we're sharing basically the economic rewards of the monetary system, then we're able to attach this yield. So we'll attract capital from the precious metals industry because we've got this yield-based system out there. We can go and do deals with like vaults, which we're doing. Bring online gold holdings out of vaults. With the strike of a pen, we can bring online billions of dollars in gold that's sitting in vaults. By doing these kind of strategic deals. I mean, if someone looks at our figures, they might think it's ridiculous, but there's a lot of gold out there, and there's a lot of silver out there, and there's vaults holding it, and we do deals with vaulting providers, etc., and we can bring online these deals. We do deals with banks that, hey, look, I wouldn't want to be holding gold through like banks because you've got all the counterparty risk, but ultimately the banks are holding gold, so we do deal with banks. We give them a yield on the gold that they're holding, and we can bring online a lot of gold. And that's just by targeting the precious metals industry. But we're going to be targeting all investment asset classes. Why? Because we're the next passive-based yielding system. And as you can see, based on comparable velocity rates to average currency, then we're looking pretty good for pretty good yields. If you actually compare us to, say, Tether, then you're looking at like velocity over 100%. In the blueprint, when we wrote it, I think the first published date of the blueprint was like around mid-January, and I looked at the velocity rate between like 1 December to the 17th of January, and it was like 199%. And that's a stable coin backed by US dollars. That's a cryptocurrency. And that's the sort of velocity rates it has. We don't anticipate velocity rates like that, but that's what's possible if people like use it as a stable coin within the cryptocurrency markets. Anyway, it's 5 minutes to the top of the hour. We've got flow charts on how it all works as far as the system goes with the yield, and basically like fiat currency coming in, turning into Kinesis coins, and then going here, going there, going out to the mobile bank, going down to the commercial center. Please look up our blueprint, even though it's a heavy document with lots and lots of numbers. It shows basically, like the planning that's gone into this, the foundation that's gone into this. And then, if you want a wider document, the white paper or the summary of the white paper is also there. And really, like, do your research. This is something new. This is something that has the ability to change the world in a really great way. And we want you to be part of it. We want as many people as possible to be part of it. So yeah, I'm not sure whether there's any questions that have come through. I'm still learning this webinar program, so let me see if I can see any questions here that I'm able to answer now. Jai, do we have any questions at all, mate, that we should answer? Or
hey, Tom, we have been going through the questions as you've been speaking, and we've been answering them. So okay. I think that at this point we'll get to all the questions. I don't think there's anything on there that we directly want you to cover now.
Okay, certainly. Yep. Okay,
we
well,
can circle back on though for sure.
Joy, you probably have Ryan next to you. Do you guys want me to cover off on anything else on this webinar? While I have you.
Just an update on the IT elements that we sent in the summary. It's always good to keep everyone up to date on the IT side of things.
And the summary, Ryan was saying, because obviously we're coming up to the round hour now, but it's always good to just cover off on the IT elements.
Yes, the IT elements?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, yes, I skipped through that. So, yeah, KCX has been designed for ease of use on mobile phones. So you'll be able to, use it on your mobile phone and see it on your mobile phone. And that which will make it easier for like Kinesis minting activities. So there you go. You don't even need a PC to mint Kinesis coins. You'll be able to do it from your phone, walking through the shops or something like that. Just make some of your Kinesis currency. The Kinesis e-wallet is now in beta phase. So there we go. We built that out as well, covering full management of all Kinesis currencies. Includes additional security features like multi-signature, as well as additional feature of inter-account verification to ensure authenticated parties prior to transactions. So just security features there, making sure that your Kinesis coins are safe and secure. Let's see here, Kinesis Blockchain Network KAU is set up and hosted across 3 global regions and configured to mitigate risk of fraud and system compromise. So this is sort of to get consensus as well. We need the system to be hosted on different servers around the world. And, you know, as we grow, those regions will get larger and larger and larger as well, the number of regions. And so, yeah, we've got it hosted, and should one region go down, obviously, you know, we've got the other region there, but to get consensus, we need at least 2 regions up at all time. So yes, and with regards to the IT side, I think there's like 3 articles up on that have been written by our CTO, Roslyn, and I think that there's going to be another one go up shortly as well. So please keep an eye out for that. On Medium, that blog there. So yeah, please read through those. Software, we're getting a big software and blockchain audit conducted as well. We've set that up because we've created our own bespoke, and in our view, improved blockchain that's forked off Stellar. And we've made improvements to it the way that we see, you know, with needed these improvements to be done. So because of that, we're getting a large independent audit done to basically for there to be that third party sign off on its, you know, basically its robustness, quality assurance, and security side. And yeah, and also on the, yeah, like the Kinesis wallet and everything like that. All associated software within the network. And yeah, well, at this stage, we cannot release who that third-party auditor is, but post it being released, then obviously you'll know. So yeah, that's I'd say that's really about it at this time. I want to thank everyone for dialing in. We're 1 minute past the top of the hour, and thank you very much. And stay tuned. We're going to, you know, increase the regularity of these webinars, and I'm going to bring in different members of the team to talk about different various aspects of this system as we build it out. I want everyone to know that we're super happy and excited about how everything's going. You're going to be hearing more and more of us. I intend on sort of pumping out interview after interview going over the next while. My target is like at least 3 interviews per day. And that's going out, like I said, to mainstream media, tier 1, tier 2, but also out to alternate media that will keep rolling. I think, you know, Andrew Maguire's got something like 17 interviews alone set up over the next while. You're a machine, Andy. And we've got some really big things happening. Some like, you know, like feature sort of film interviews where we have camera crews coming from around the world, flying here, flying there. We're going out on TV shows shortly. I think everyone who's been following us is going to be quite impressed, and maybe even a little bit surprised at what's going to happen over the next little while. So I want to thank everyone for all your support thus far. It continues to keep us motivated and inspired at our end. And I want to thank my team also for all the good work that they're doing, and keep up the good work, everyone. And thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks, everyone.